Okay, think about your day so far. Did you buy something online? Check your bank account? Maybe just message a friend? Almost everything we do now is built on these digital connections. But how safe are they really? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on digital security and give you what you need to know to protect your corner of the internet.
So let's just start with the big question. How safe is your data online? I mean, really think about it for a second. How many accounts do you have floating out there? How much of your personal life is just stored on servers you'll never, ever see? That's the challenge we're diving into today.
And this really gets to the core of it. As businesses have moved online, they've become massive targets. And the reason is pretty simple. In this digital world, their data, we're talking customer lists, financial records, all those personal details, is often worth way more than the computers it's sitting on. That kind of value? Well, it's basically a giant magnet for attackers.
So, if we're going to protect ourselves, we first have to understand what we're actually up against. Let's step into what I like to call the digital danger zone and take a look at the most common threats out there.
First up is the one that probably feels the most personal: identity theft. And look, this is so much more than just a stolen credit card number. This is when a criminal literally hijacks your entire digital life to commit fraud, all while using your good name as their personal mask.
So what are they actually looking for? What's on their shopping list? Well, it's all this stuff. And what's kind of scary is how basic it all seems, right? Your name, your birthday, your address, these are just the fundamental building blocks of who you are. But to a hacker, every single piece is a key that can unlock a door to your bank accounts, your email, and a whole lot more.
Okay, I know that sounds pretty daunting, but the good news is there's a whole field of experts dedicated to fighting back. So let's meet the gatekeepers, so to speak, and learn the core principles they use to keep our information safe.
Right, at the heart of all information security is this concept called the CII triad. First, you've got confidentiality. This is all about making sure your secrets stay secret. Think encrypted emails that only the right person can read. Second is integrity. This makes sure your data hasn't been messed with, so a $100 bank transfer doesn't suddenly become a $10,000 one. And third, availability. This just means you can actually get to your data when you need it, which is crucial for stopping things like ransomware attacks. These three pillars, they're the foundation of any secure system.
So, how do systems actually use these principles? Well, they use a pretty logical three-step process to control who gets in. First, you identify yourself, usually with a username. Then you authenticate that claim, with a password. And only after you've done that are you authorized or given permission to access certain things. It's like a digital checkpoint, step by step.
Let's just break down those last two steps for a second because people mix them up all the time. Authentication is just proving you are who you say you are. It's like showing your ID to the bouncer at a club. Authorization, on the other hand, is all about what you're allowed to do once you're inside. Are you just a regular guest, or are you on the VIP list with access to the back rooms? That's authorization.
All right, so we've got the principles down. Now let's open up the digital toolkit and look at the real everyday defenses that put all those ideas into practice.
First up is the firewall. This is basically the digital bouncer standing at the front door of your network. Its job is to inspect everything and everyone trying to get in or out. And if something looks suspicious or it's not on the approved guest list, it's denied entry. Simple as that.
But, what happens if something sneaky slips past that bouncer? Well, that's where antivirus software comes in. It's like having security inside the club, constantly scanning for threats like viruses or spyware that have already managed to get onto your system and then kicking them out.
So how do you find your weaknesses before the bad guys do? That's the whole idea behind penetration testing. You're basically hiring ethical hackers, the good guys, to try and break into your own systems. They find all the security holes so you can patch them up before a real criminal gets the chance. You can think of it like a controlled fire drill for a cyber attack.
Okay, so far we've talked about these tools that kind of run in the background. But now let's look at the security measures you actually interact with every single day. The ones designed to prove you're a human and not some malicious bot.
I guarantee you've seen these. CAPTCHA. And it actually stands for Completely Automated Public Turing Test to Tell Computers and Humans Apart. Yeah, it's a real mouthful. But the goal is super simple. Create a little test that's easy for a person to pass, but really, really tough for a bot. This is the front line against automated spam.
And what's so cool is seeing how they've changed over time. I mean, we went from trying to decipher these wavy, distorted letters to now just clicking a simple box that says, "I'm not a robot." It just goes to show how these security tools are constantly adapting to be tougher on new bots, while being way less annoying for us humans.
Another really powerful tool is the one-time password, or OTP. It's that unique code, usually a bunch of numbers, sent to your phone that's only good for one single login. And here's why that is so important. Even if a hacker manages to steal your main password, it is completely useless without that temporary code.
And this is exactly how it works. First, you put in your username and password like you always do. Then, the system sends a brand new, unique OTP to your phone. Finally, you type in that code, and you're in. This whole process is called two-factor authentication, and it is hands down one of the best things you can do to protect your accounts. So, we've covered the threats, the principles, and the tools. But here's the thing. The fight for digital security is never really over. It's an ongoing battle, and it requires constant vigilance. And that's because security is a moving target. It's not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of thing. Hackers are always coming up with new ways to attack, and technology is always changing. That means we have to be changing too. Staying safe means doing regular checkups and being ready to adapt as new threats pop up.
Now, check this out. It's a pretty surprising fact. We tend to picture hackers as these shadowy figures on the other side of the world. But a lot of the time, the single biggest security weakness isn't the technology, it's us. An employee clicking a suspicious link or maybe using a super weak password can accidentally swing the door wide open for an attack. It just proves that educating ourselves is one of the most powerful security tools we have.
And so we'll leave you with this thought. Every single day, we add new devices, new accounts, and new connections to our digital lives. So the really crucial question we all need to ask ourselves isn't just whether the technology is keeping up, but whether we are. As your digital world gets bigger and bigger, is your digital front door actually getting any stronger?